Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream here on the twitch.tv / the Xisuma playing on Hermitcraft, where I have sorted a whole bunch of inventory stuff out with my backpack stuff looking fine and dandy. How is glass not full up? I dumped a ton of glass into the system. I don't know. M. Dooney, welcome to the stream. The stream. Yeah, don't know what's up with that. I do know that I need to go lock this again. Now that the sorting has finished. Lockie Frost says, has anyone eaten today? If not, remember to eat well as drink water and take your meds. Yeah. Has anyone remembered to breathe today? If not, well, you're probably dead, so screw you. How inconsiderate are you? I'm streaming and you forgot to breathe. And now you're not here. That is just disrespectful. Disrespectful. Yeah, just sort of checking that all the filtering worked. Looked like it did for some stuff, but other stuff not so much. Anyway, it's time to put all of this away. I mean, the glass. Glass was the one thing that I noticed. Hey, watching your new vid. Be right back, says Karen. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. There is a new video out. Go watch it. Pre-release 1 for 1.21.2. The Bundles of Bravery update. Drop even. Including updates for the thing that isn't in that one, which is the winter drop. The other drop before the next update. I'm like, it's all very confusing, isn't it? It's all very confusing. I'm not confused though. I know exactly what's going on, but you have to pay close attention. That is the thought that struck me today. You got to pay close attention to this stuff if you want to follow what's going on. Hey, there we go. Ah, not so good. There, you got it back. There's so much confusion now between snapshots, experimental data packs, updates, and drops. Just like why, says Neomal. You know, I can't remember where I said it, but I was trying to say it sort of delicately, but I don't think you can say it delicately. But like, could this be on the audience? Because if you go and read the blogs and pay attention to them, then honestly it's not too difficult to follow. But you know, okay, people are getting most of their information through people like me. So am I doing a good enough job, or are we living in a time and age where you're checking out the video while you're texting your friend and you're watching that video on the other screen, there's some music in the background. We live in this age of like constant distraction, and when I see a lack of understanding in my comments, you know, I can see, yeah, that's a problem, whatever, but also I think, I don't know what this person is doing to understand it. I felt like I do an alright job explaining it. You can also go to the website and read up on it. So you can't put all the blame in one place, right? And I wonder how much of it could be blamed on just the way we consume information these days. I wonder. But I think for the most part, Mojang could have just stick to doing something that works, which they had. Let me tell you what we're going to do today, peeps. We're going to build a bridge. Going to build a bridge right here. That's like, these are two halves of an idea that I had, and I think we're going to go with the one on the left. Okay, I did want to put towers at either end, but I don't think it's going to work. They're too big, too bulky. And I built it out of stone. Like, what? Just nothing but stone. I am trying to learn from the best of them. Some of these other hermits, namely Pearl, build stuff in stone first. And to tell you what, it made it super easy to focus on the shape whilst using my mind's eye to kind of see a bit beyond what we're actually built here. So in this stream, do I want to time-lapse this? I feel like if do you know what? I'm going to put my camera account here on time-lapse this. Like, I've been a bit, I don't know, I'm trying to record and talk to the peeps. Like, where did you come from and why are you down there? Oh gosh. Oh gosh. What is with this game? I've been a bit, I don't know, like I've been trying to like hit a reset mentally lately, and when it comes to air quotes making content, it's always just like it adds a little layer of pressure. I think what I'll do is I'll jump on with my camera account and record this in flashback, but I probably won't use it in a video. I went back and watched some Factorio videos that I made a long time ago, 4 years ago. That was a series where I was like, I really want to get back to just making those types of videos and forget about the numbers. Unfortunately, the numbers got to me. Now I go back and look at those videos and thought, I should have kept going. This was really fun. When I listen to myself back in those videos, I have so much more fascination with what's going on around me to express. And I feel like I have less of that now. So I'm trying to just like play and do stuff without constantly honing in on that thing and trying to let something happen naturally, if that makes any sense. So, you know, I wanted to make this bridge, and I think I'm going to enjoy making it more if it's not content. It's a little strange to explain. But yeah, watching those old Factorio videos, I just realized like there was always something for me to talk about. Maybe I've just played this game so much that it's getting harder and harder to talk about things in the game because they're just so normal and typical. It is content, though. Stream content, says Black Ranger. It's content for you. It's not content for my video. It's just me playing at the moment. That's the difference. Like we're just hanging out and playing Minecraft, right? I like that. Making an episode is a little bit different these days. It's like I'm trying to find the fun new thing. And I've played this game for so long that it's really difficult to find that stuff sometimes. I mean, Minecraft is a game that you can play forever, but you might repeat yourself a lot. I think I've just, I don't know, lately feel like I need something a little new, something a little fresh. I don't know what it is. You hanging out and playing Minecraft is what we love, says Aprover. Thank you, my dude. Yeah. I guess when I watch those Factorio videos, it's like there's no Minecraft video that I make today that feels like this. If the equivalent of what I do today was in a Factorio video, it'd be doing like mega bases and, you know, like really stretching the game. Whereas I just had this innate fascination with what was directly in front of me. And I could hear it back through the video. I could remember playing it and feeling it. And after many, many years of playing this game, it is different. I'm going to have a sip of tea. Decaf, by the way, decaf. Hero Blender, you are the king of chat today. Good spot. What am I listening to today? Is it turned off still? Let's turn it back on. It wasn't working the other day. I kept pressing the button. It was like, no, not gonna, no, won't do it. And then I restarted the program and it was like, okay, I'll cooperate now. I'll cooperate. Black Ranger says, I can relate to that to a lot, X. Although making videos was never a full-time job for me, at some point I realised constantly tinkering around about how to make a better video took so much out of what I was doing, it's understandable. Yeah, that's like the meta of it as well, is that you got this video perspective. You know, maybe now you've just illuminated it a little bit more. It's these days my Minecraft experience interacts far more with the video than the game, right? It's so much more about what am I showing to all of you? What are we doing? Because I've done all the other stuff a gazillion times, all the basics. Whereas in my Factorio videos, it was all fresh. You could talk about all the stuff going on around you, you know? To be honest, I didn't mind X read that message, not massively OOC. Okay. Meduna, thank you for 4 months of support. Greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. Hope you're doing well. OOC is OOC, as a derp is a derp. What does OOC stand for then? Out of context. Okay. Okay, I got you. Alright, this side over here, we need to tear down the tower that was going to be. Oh, got a little bit of haste now. I'll take full advantage of that, thank you. Hello X, how you been? I've been good. I've been good, thanks for asking. Done any guitar today? Nope, still injured. There is a hole in my soul. And I don't know, it just feels weird not to play. The stream's got some relaxing vibes, perfect for me to listen to while I work, says Breadloaf. Welcome to the stream, my dude. It's definitely chill here today, because I was going to stream a little earlier, then we had a snapshot, and now that the snapshot's over, my energy is a little lower, so I'm just kind of in that relaxed... time to relax, you know? You just love vibing and being in chat. Awesome, awesome. That's dramatic, says Nealm. I'm not joking. It puts a hole in my soul. And I was learning to play some Slipknot songs and really loving it. And I've been obsessed with Slipknot lately. So when I was a teenager growing up, you know, back in the nu metal days or whatever you want to call it, Slipknot were this band that just had this like unreal interest about them because they were like really mysterious. No one knew who they were. They just had these masks, right? And now there are channels on YouTube just pouring out a plethora of like videos that people recorded on like handheld cameras, sometimes the professional recordings inside of a venue of their shows from like the glory years 1999 to 2001, and they're just incredible to watch these live shows again. Sometimes the audiences are quite big, sometimes there are small clubs, and they've got like these videos must be coming out from people who are on tour with the band, because they got behind the scenes video of them hanging out with fans, with each other, getting ready for a show. They've got the rehearsals and sound checks, them doing it unmasked in like 1999, and then they've even got like them hanging out backstage without their masks and stuff on. This is the stuff that I would have killed to have seen when I was a kid, and it's amazing that it's all just there on the internet now. So back then they did a pretty good job of keeping it all under wraps. But now it's so long gone and probably no one cares. People have just started releasing this stuff. It kind of reminds me like, I think it was in the early 2010s. A lot of World War II footage in color started releasing. Now there's a lot of colorized World War II footage out there. There's also a lot of footage that sat in private collections. And it was probably just a kind of like taboo. World War II was fresh in people's minds. No one ever released it because the color cameras are actually in the hands of a lot of rich people at the time. It hadn't, you know how things tend to trickle down over time. So you had basically wealthy people living in these societies that had their own little handheld color cameras. And they recorded a lot of stuff that was going on during World War II. But then it just remained in private collections. And then in 2010, there was just a flood. Like, something set it off. Like, a collection was released because someone died and, you know, all their things passed hands. And then that caused someone else to release some. And then there's this wave of World War II footage of, like, you know, everyday life in the Reich and things like that in color came out. And people started putting it together. It'd been 84 years, lol, says A Downs. Been closer to about 65, 70 years. It would have been. 2010 was the era when this all happened. So then, anyway, all this footage comes out of private collections. People just start realizing that it's okay to do this now, and so all this incredible footage comes out. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like at some point there's a tipping point, and if there were ever resistance to it, there ain't any more. And now there's just a flood of people sending in their Slipknot concerts they recorded on a hand camera, people who were on tour with them recording from the side of the stage, and it's all just being released. It's so cool. It's so cool. And I've been going down that rabbit hole because it's like every couple of days a new video comes out of one of their old concerts. Cherry Pie 84, thank you so much for 13 months. Hi X, I hope you are doing good. Love the art gallery. So many talented people in the community. Oh yeah. Yeah, the art gallery is amazing. Let's pop over there. This episode came out yesterday. Let's actually go inside the thing. Sorry if you talked about this in some other stream. I missed what do you think of Linkin Park and their new singer? Honestly, I really loved the reveal on the first single. Just felt like old times. I'm really not too keen on their new songs or her voice that much. I can hear why they picked her. There's some sort of vibe there, but it's just not for me. Yeah, look at these amazing creations. This one, by the way, like I was enamored by it, and when I was over here just yesterday, I kind of then realized, oh wait a minute, I'm standing in the spawn chunks. Like these flames on the side, I just realized what they were. I mean, there's so many things loaded into this one. I'll probably like, oh my god, the silverfish. Like, you know, I was thinking, oh, there's some little bugs down there. That's cool. Oh my god, that, like the allays, we messed around with them. This right here, I'm not sure if that references something we did this season, but it's like a void block. The lines for the copper, Galia, the building we created in the shopping district, loglands behind our cathedral building. But yeah, no, the bottom bit down here I spotted yesterday, and now I've spotted the silver. It's just wild. I love this one. It represents all of the different skins. This just, if you mix my love of music with the Minecraft stuff, that just melts my soul right there. This is almost like promotional art for the game. It is so cool. And then this is the one that the community picked. There's some amazing representations of the different skin, and this was the Bone Mage from season 9. Really dark and menacing style there. Also, the Bone Mage isn't in this one, so there's a lot of different Xisuma characters represented, which is awesome. Bill B 2121, thank you for your 6 months, my dude. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. What's my injury from the guitar? Oh right, I think probably chronic RSI injuries, and I'm currently going through some physiotherapy. My arms are not great, although currently I've gone like several days without any real issues with them. I tend to just wake up with massive aches in them. But I'm gonna try this shockwave therapy soon, which is where they like zap your muscles and it causes them to inflame and gets your body to kind of respond to the damage. So yeah, it's been a long time I've been off the guitar. It just drives me nuts. Right, do you know, I'm not even gonna bother with the replay. I'm gonna turn off the camera account. I don't care for it. I just want to, I don't want to think about turning it into a time lapse. I just want to work on it. So we're gonna have a floor that will probably be wooden, and I think the roof will be wooden, and we'll put stone all the way around the outside, and I think I'm pretty much going to end up going with stone bricks. So we need to go get some of our building pallets. What is my favorite Imp and Skiz podcast episode? Mine are the ghost stories, says Maggie Go. That's a good question. I've really just enjoyed listening to the interviews with other hermits and other, not just hermits, like they bring on people outside of Hermitcraft. Those are always fascinating. They've had a bunch of really good ones, but not so much one that like sticks out for me, because there's a lot of personal growth and development stuff in there, which I'm really on board with. But I've kind of done a lot of that myself over the years, and so they will tell some really worthwhile things. But I've heard many of the fables and the wisdoms, or whatever you want to call it, before. So I love that stuff. They do a great job expressing it, but I'm also quite familiar with those concepts, so I don't quite have this like one thing that jumps out at me because I hadn't heard that before or whatever, you know. Do you know why the last screw is always the most difficult to get in? Have you experienced this? Maybe because all the other screws have pushed whatever you're doing into a position where the last one is now like off. Like if you imagine you screw in a bunch of screws into a metal fixture and all of them sort of shift it over to a side, when you get to that last one, it's got the least amount of wiggle room because the other screws are holding it into a certain position. So it's probably like the alignment. Yeah, something like that. Right, okay, so I did actually start off with Junglewood over there. We've done a bridge like this, a bridge like that, and a bridge like this. We're gonna go, I think, with jungle and oak. Those two can mix together pretty well. Might put a little bit of a orange accent, although I don't seem to have a crazy amount of a chatter as it goes. I like the idea of putting in a little bit of an unusual accent color in there. Not sure what that'll be. So then we want to have some moss down the bottom. We'll take our vines with us because it looked like we didn't have a crazy amount of that. Maybe a bit of that. Okay. Where's the vines? Oh, here. I got the other one as well. Dude, do I have like no vines? Oh, do you know what? You can combine them with moss blocks. I forgot about that. Let's take some moss blocks. That one right there. So that's stone. Did I get stone bricks? No, stone bricks are over here. What's also like the stone texture? I mean, we got that, but I don't need that. Andesite. Whoops. You finished watching the drop video. Not calling it update confuses me too. Yeah, I'm trying to do my best. I listen to myself back and it's like, I'm calling it, you know, the Bundles of Bravery update. It's the Bundles of Bravery drop. I think Mojang need to kind of just simplify all of this, and I think they need to do it by not really saying much, but just go back to like 1.21.2. Sorry, 1.22 is the bundles. 1.23 is the winter drop. 1.24 is the next big one that we don't know about yet. You know, just keep it simple. Keep it simple, Mojang. We've already got a box of that, haven't we? Although, interestingly, not a lot of those make it over there. That makes sense, actually, because this filter's before it. Yeah, so I don't think I want to introduce a crazy amount of blocks, because I'm not doing, like, natural texture. We're doing structure. Is there, like, another block that fits these ones that I'm just forgetting? I don't think there is. Dead coral, yeah, no, I don't want to go crazy with this. I want to keep it relatively simple. And then, okay, so like, then we know we're going with, I've got a reference image, by the way. I found a picture of a bridge that I thought would help me kind of suss out what I wanted to do. Leaves are an important thing. And then it's the color of the wood. Yeah, this is why I think I need an accent. Okay, so I want to grab leaves, lights. Leaves and lights, and then I do think I need an accent color. I'm kind of really drawn to this one, so maybe I will. We'll just grab that color. Another JT, thank you so much for your 88 months. 88, woo! That is a lot, getting closer to the dungeon, my dude. Evil X is in his house, thank you so much. I presume the drop terminology came from marketing. Marketing people love to rename things, says Burt Potato. It really does seem like it, and it's not a great renaming because it's just adding a little confusion. I think my bed's actually over there, isn't it? Yay, bridge. I don't know, like buttons and stuff. I can't bridge well. I mean, some of the first things you bring up when you talk about a bridge, you know. Oh, it's actually here. Buttons. That's not what people think about when we think about bridges. But okay, I know what you mean. Details, right? We've got to start with the structure though first, I think. So here comes the chess monster. I played so much Satisfactory recently that this just feels a little daunting, which is unsurprising. I've been spoiled by some solid building mechanics. So yeah, I reckon we'll need blocks like these. Some mossy stuff down the bottom. Using a little bit of cobble actually in the mix might not be a bad idea. We'll avoid it for the time being. So I'm gonna need these blocks. Let's start. Actually, I think I might start with a polished andesite along the sides. Might need a few of those. Probably need a lot of these. Yes, I should be using a stone car. Chida, welcome to the stream. Some canal bridges in the UK have those button-activated lift mechanisms for boat to pass. Oh, you smarty pants, you. Oh. You know, some bridges have a self-destruct button hidden away. Oh, of course they do. Oh, you smarty pants. Right. I think I might go with this. Just wherever there's that, we go above and below, which might look kind of quirky. Looks very quirky. Looks a little better. The further you go along, maybe. It's hard to say. Gonna need more of those slabs. Do you think some inventory concept mechanisms from Satisfactory have their place in Minecraft? Someone hasn't watched any of my streams ever. Absolutely. This game is 15 years old. And it shows itself pretty well. Building in other games is quite different from this, isn't it? Let's see what we got going on here. I think I'm going to change this middle bit up. So, yeah, let's go with that. Do a little something like that in the middle. Although I kind of like those going for something a little different now, don't I? It's okay so far. We're going to need some serious contrast when we put in the stone bricks in and around this thing. Some serious... God, there's going to be serious contrast around here, peeps. Deadly serious. Okay, so then you got these bits. This is, again, I think they need to be colourful, those blocks. Do you remember we were talking about introducing some different colour? this might be the place to do that. Let's start with this one. That's a nice pop of colour right there. A nice pop of colour. Feels like it doesn't have much of a connection to the andesite below it though. What if we can integrate it a little bit more? You've been playing in your world for just over a year. You've been thinking of starting a new world because I feel like I could have a better layout of my ideas. Do you feel like that ever? Yeah. I spent today in my storage system realizing there's a better way to do all of this. But for me, it's like I'll hit that reset when I go to the next season of Hermitcraft. Slytro, thank you for 61 months, my dude. Very much appreciated. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the continued support. Yeah, so far it just feels like that's a bit of a strong contrast. Maybe I should go for something a little more subtle. These are going to be replaced by the jungle and the oak. You know what would be nice actually? This block stripped, I think. Maybe this is a little too strong. Acacia trapdoors below the acacia log. You know, I thought the same thing. Might be worth a try. We could do that as well. I think those andesite blocks are to stay. So we could try it on the other side, but I'm just going to replace them here. Oh yeah, that's something else to be placed down for later. Maybe dark oak. I kind of want to stick to the colours that I picked out. Otherwise, we're just going to end up in that maddening world of swapping things around and umming and ahhing. It does actually do quite a bit, that does. So we'd do that, we'd swing around, place that there. Not gonna lie, Ten has got me interested more and more in Hermit's channel, including you, Xisuma. Glad to follow you along your journey, says Brandiocious. Thank you, my dude. Thank you. Yeah, that's kind of what it needed to make it help it pop. And I imagine as we get further along, we'll probably find other little places to pop this in. Okay, let's go with the orange. Orange, you're glad I didn't put a joke here, except I did. Oh dear. Right, with that in there, I can see how that's going to translate to what we do next. I'm kind of looking at the underside and thinking it's a bit lacking. But we probably need to get like a show of the color that we're going to go with in here. So I'm going to grab these two and start to change this. I will take out half of it. So we're gonna build like a quarter of the bridge, right? Or just over a quarter. So then we look at it from one side and we can imagine how it would mirror all the way around. At least that's the idea. Might not always go to plan. Hey, it's Matsubu, 69 months. Thank you so much, my dude, for the continued support. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Lucky Tiger Kitten, welcome to the stream. What's your opinion on cutting down social media as a content creator, says Lilius Pink? Oh, I've loved doing it. there was this period not so long ago, like post 2020, sort of season 8, season 9, I tried to I was listening to all these podcasts about like success on YouTube, and I kind of realized at a point some of the conversations were really quite like soulless as well. It was all just numbers, and then content creators talked about what they were making in these kind of like uninspired ways, you know, maximizing retention and all these things. And I really kind of like felt, without realizing it, like this is the direction I need to go in. I need to become a better YouTuber. And it really didn't work for me. And I think the fallout of that has had me feeling much more in line with moving away from social media, moving away from like trying to be present everywhere, and thinking about, oh, I need to be on this platform, I need to be on that platform. It's like, actually, it's all right just to be in one spot, and that be that. So, you know, from my content creator perspective, I think it's good to step back, and from a personal perspective, it's also been good to engage in it less. Telefoam, thank you so much for 3 months. Thank you. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Thank you for supporting the channel. I made a video on the Xisuma Says channel a while back about things that Elon Musk was saying on Twitter, and the key point I kind of wanted to put in that video that I think some people might have been lost on some people, because all of that stuff is really politicized, and if anything sounds like critique, you tend to put up your shield, your armor, your defense. The key point I wanted to ram home with that video wasn't so much a commentary on the larger picture. It was sort of saying, whatever that larger picture is, look at how bad of a place this is to talk about it. And I still feel that holds true, and I actually feel quite happy that I've become really aware of this, because it's so often that I just notice something's trending, and I used to click on it without thinking and go look at stuff, right? But these days I'm like, if I'm in that moment where I've got a minute to look or whatever, it's like, I know it's going to be bad, and I see it straight away, and it doesn't, like, I don't get roped into it now. I just see what's wrong with it. You know, you see this trending topic, and it's like, look at how people talk about this stuff. Everyone's throwing out these mightier than thou, I'm so right sort of statements. There's no room for discussion. There's no room for humility. There's no humanness about it. It's just really like cold. Yeah, people also think a critique is an attack on your person. Exactly. Yeah, it's like that. But it's also like, it's there in advance as well. It's like, because that's the way people talk on there, people like put out their tweets as if there's an attack coming their way for saying it already. You know what I mean? I feel like maybe I didn't give myself enough depth with this design. I do like how slim it is, but maybe it needs to be a bit wider. I really don't want to start like rebuilding the whole thing. It feels nice. I wanted to get this shape here with the stone from somewhere, and it don't feel like the blocks are here for it. I've got a bit of a wild idea in mind. I deleted my Twitter account earlier this year, and I don't miss it, says Burt Potato. Good for you, good for you. I'm thinking I want a trapdoor. I mean, it's probably going to have to be the achacha wood that does this for me. And I'm rapidly running short on this stuff. I'm going to have to chop some more down. And what would you know? I've played the game for 10 minutes, my inventory is full. It's ridiculous. Okay. So maybe on the underside there's more of this block hanging about. Wow, that's the wrong block. So now we're gonna go Dude, what is going on with this? Alright, there we go. That's not what I'm looking for. Also with the slabs, I think all of this, like the alignment is just kind of wrong. Do I have... No, I don't have the block I want on me. Why would I? Why would I? Oh, I did. I did. The worst part is that people started to talk like that in real life too. Listen to how politicians speak in public these days. It's like reading a Twitter thread. I've noticed a little bit of that as well. That concerns me greatly. That concerns me greatly, seeing it sort of have that negative feedback loop. That's very concerning. You had to recreate a Twitter account because too many times someone links a Twitter thread about some programming topic and you just can't read posts without an account. Yeah, they changed that now. Internet speak translating to real life is very scary. I saw it a lot this summer with the younger kids. I still don't know why they kept telling me I was cooked. Yeah, but language has always done that kind of like feedback, evolve, and change. Slang becomes normal over time. Accents change. Like there's always been that. I guess the thing now is that it's just rapid. It's like noticeable in front of you. Thankfully, offline chat is helpful for cancelled streams from Tango, etc. Offline chat? What's that? And what's it got to do with Tango? So that's like okay. I think that shape actually that shape's really quite nice. Now the next trick is to bring in a contrast behind it, and I think this is where what we're doing will excel, hopefully. It's just going to be a bit awkward to build this. And I think I'm going to have to do something here as well. Oh, it's another easy. Is that the right way around? Yep. It's very awkward to build this. Should probably, again, just focus on getting the one side done first. So I reckon what we'll do here in the middle is use the jungle and oak a fair bit. How it looks from down here is a concern for another time. Where do I want to put this? Like here? Then all of that can get filled in. And then kind of do the same thing here. That doesn't help me place it. Quite like that, actually. That's cool. That's cool. Now, what we do there is probably cover it up with stone bricks. Although I'd like to figure out a way to do that differently. Okay then, I'm gonna say so far so good. I feel like maybe the stone bricks at the bottom could do a little more contrast, but when we get to the roof, I think we'll change it up, and it'll look good. So yeah, now I just want to mirror all of this on the opposite side, and roll with that. Keeping it simple today, peeps. Keeping it simple. Evening X, evening chats just during. Welcome, my dude. Welcome. Soundwave Hope. Welcome as well. Which do you use, Fabric or Forge, and why? I use Fabric because it just seems to be the easier one to get along with, that has just more stability. Mods seem to update faster. That's been my experience of it. But yeah, on the note of Twitter and stuff like that, to me it's really healthy to get your head out of the fog it creates. Like, if you're on those social media platforms consistently, get a good meta perspective of what's going on. Like, don't just pay attention to the thing that's being said, but pay attention to how it's being said, the environment, etc., because that's where I think there is damage being done. And it's really quite concerning to me. Thanks to X for your opinion on the matter. Been thinking a lot of cutting down on my socials for my own sanity's sake, since more and more drama is constantly pushed in my face, and the less socials I have, the less drama I get dragged into. Yeah, that's a good observation. And I used to follow drama news a lot. I used to watch Phil DeFranco. Sup. Everything was just this he says, she says, and I used to like be really interested in it until, I don't know, at some point I started to like realize that it's like a never-ending thing. I also noticed a lot of people that get involved in those dramas, they're actually like just friends and get along with one another, and I think sometimes there's this sort of like mutually known thing among content creators of like, drama is good for views, so have at it. But yeah, there's a lot going on in the world, and you can always find a particular type of story. So if what you're consuming makes you feel a particular way, then give yourself a chance to pay less attention to it. Run an experiment. Just, hey, I'm gonna take a break from this for a while. It's not going to be a permanent decision, but I'm gonna gather some data. What happens if I don't take in this awful news about XYZ every day, you know, and find out what's better for your mental well-being. Some people are into it. Some people, you know, want to... Is this off? Oh, no, we're good. We're on track. I see what we're doing. Some people, you know, their passion revolves around some of the stuff that happens in the news that's bad, and you might want to be informed and might want to stay in that lane, but some of us, it's not our forte, it's not something we know what to do about, and it can be really draining just to keep up to date with it all. Hollypop says, I do the similar thing with the news. There's so much negativity, I just skip it. Yeah. You know, I don't ever go on news websites anymore. The most I get pulled into stuff is on Twitter when I check for Minecraft related stuff, and then I see a bunch of trending or whatever. I get a taste of what's going on through that. And I do get some news and some understanding of what's going on, but I tend to do that through podcasting and YouTube content, and it comes through the lens of a particular creator. So you kind of know like what tone you're going to get this information in, what kind of side it's from, and you know, you can sort of like pick and choose your battles that way. I stopped following drama channels in 2017, and the internet has been so much nicer since, says Amelia Not. Oh yeah, that's it, yeah. When you don't pay attention to that stuff, it's much better. Unfortunately, the topics being discussed on Twitter are extremely important to the future of America / the world. You may be happy you're ignoring it, but it impacts millions of people and future generations. You can't always ignore problems. True. I understand totally what you're saying. The thing for me, though, is the solution is to get off Twitter. Like, Twitter itself is the problem. Like, this is the place we shouldn't do that, is how I feel. I don't get I try not to get any like information in my head that becomes a part of my worldview from something someone tweeted, no matter what the context of it is, because I feel like the medium is not healthy for sharing this kind of information. If I'm going to learn about some important big world stuff, you know, maybe it should be from a book or from a podcast with someone who's put a lot of time and effort into the thing they're talking about, right? So, you know, I'm sort of saying get off Twitter. Yes, there's big stuff being discussed on there, but I think the solution is that we need to not discuss it on there. We need to find better avenues of communicating with one another, because this platform is destructive and unhealthy. We are not equipped for this kind of level of communication. The speed that it takes at, the friction involved in fact-checking and being timely with this stuff, it's just, we're not wired for it very well. You're such a good speaker, that it makes sense. Like, I understand everything you're saying, says Karen Cake. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. And maybe, like, you know, what if I tweeted everything I was saying? How would everything I just say look in a tweet? Because it's really hard to get across where you're coming from. Like, I'm talking to you with an empathetic tone here. I'm not slam dunking, but on Twitter, like, someone would slam dunk on what you just said. It would be like, they would put it into that snidey little remark, like, no man, Twitter itself is the problem. And that's the way you'll read it, like someone slam dunking on you, which is not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to listen to what you say, and I thought about that a lot already, you know. And to me, it seems, after a lot of thought, that it's Twitter itself that's the issue, right? So, yeah. Oh yeah, Joe joined. Maybe they're not doing Satisfactory today. I wasn't able to join them because I had my Tuesday Hermitcraft stream planned for early in the day. Then we got a pre-release. Plus, I really felt like this was where my head was at today, was just to work on this little project here. Yeah, so like I can articulate myself in a live stream so much better. And even this, it could be better to talk to people face to face in real life about this real important stuff, right? So I appreciate what you're saying, and I think the problem is that the important stuff is being discussed on there and not in a better platform. That's how I feel. Bell Stevens says communicating with each other is the key. X. Most of the people on Twitter aren't communicating. They're stating their point of view and leaving it there, whether it's factual or not. Proper discussions and debates have disappeared. I very much agree with what you just said. Also, you said people are stating their points of view and leaving it there. You know, I don't mind people stating their view if it's different from mine. I always want to try and learn something from someone. So when I read some tweets that are someone's statement about this thing or that thing, it's also like an opportunity for me to learn. But I feel this like knee-jerk reaction when I'm on Twitter, and I think a lot of people do as well. Like, if something is in contradiction to a belief you have or a way you have of looking at things, you just feel this weird knee-jerk reaction to kind of say something different about it. When you have people like face-to-face, in person, or even just on a podcast, two people talking, that knee-jerk reaction isn't there. So I can listen to a podcast with someone who has very different political views to me, and it allows me to go, right, I want to understand where they're coming from. I want to see how they've reached these conclusions, and maybe there are some things about it that I could agree with or whatever, but in general it's about getting an understanding, and I can do that. I can see where people are coming from, etc. On Twitter, it doesn't give you the tools to do that. It just becomes combative. There's something really wrong with small amounts of text to explain big issues. Instead of saying something and getting into an argument, I just block the person on the page and move on. Has done wonders for my well-being, says Everstrew. Good for you, man. Yeah, that's it. Just if it doesn't work, don't do it. Pandemic has proven the effects of widely differing facts being spread. Not to start up that discussion, just how hard it can be to discern which sources are credible, says Brandicious. Yeah, I think the problem there is that there's been some credible distrust or reasons to distrust our institutions that we would normally rely on for telling us the truth. And that institutional distrust seems to have kind of sparked a bit of a counter-narrative. So like it's like, yeah, these things are bad, but we actually really need them, and we need them to be good and be done right. And there seems to be like a bit of like a burn it down, like anti-establishment kind of movement, if you like, if you want to call it that, or viewpoint. And what I think what tends to not get said is that there are actually good reasons to distrust. There has been some missteps by our institutions, and some of that concern is valid, but like it's been swung in the opposite direction. Whereas really, it's like, no, we need to correct these problems, not burn it all down, because we need relatable realities. We need to share common facts with one another. We can't coexist if we have different ideas of what reality is. No consequences of... I wonder if that is because the internet, there are no consequences of speaking out. You don't need to remain friends with a random person on Twitter, Fred, but if it's your colleague at work, then you're not going to tell them they're an idiot to their face. You're 100% right. That totally exists. If you just look at like trolling behavior online, the way people will say really mean and nasty stuff to each other or target them, like this is stuff that doesn't really happen. And when it does, it's really bad and frowned upon. You know, someone who goes around saying those sorts of things IRL to someone's face, you know, like you sort of become an outcast or whatever. Like there are these like social prices to pay for misbehavior, and the internet does just rid you of that. I am an incredibly pro-free speech advocate. I hear a lot on Twitter that I disagree with, but I am glad to hear it. I want my opinions to grow and change, even if it's difficult. I don't ever block ban people I disagree with, says Caustic Banjo. I'm in the same vein. I'm very pro-free speech. I don't think it's possible to be an absolutist, though. I think like the old that you shouldn't be able to shout fire in a crowded room when there isn't a fire, you know. There are some limitations that I think have to be sort of agreed upon by people together, but yeah, that's a bit of another rabbit hole. Like, as for blocking people, like if someone wants to do that for their mental health, I'm all for it. But I agree with you. Like, I don't block people. I'm very tolerant of, I guess, seeing stuff in the world that I disagree with or don't like personally. I tend not to use the block button. I got a feeling in the middle it might be nicer if they didn't join and it just sort of went up. Like just about there, like leave a gap. And then have these bits go to that spot. It might create some awkwardness with the wood, but just feel like that might be a better way to do it. As long as speech doesn't hurt people, I don't mind that. What people say. Yeah, the thing with this is that like this is one of those areas that quickly goes into like a muddy place, because like there's always like a line in the sand that we're trying to draw in our head. And some topics happen to be like way more murky than others. Like people can say things that inspire other people to do harm, or you can tell someone to do, like, you know, if I say, you know, if I give someone a gun and tell them to shoot them, right? I haven't shot the gun, you know? Like I just said words. So where does that fall under freedom of speech? But sometimes, you know, maybe I didn't hand a person a gun. Maybe I didn't tell them to shoot someone, but had they not listened to this horrible thing that I said, they went and did this horrible thing. Like, it comes in degrees. It comes in an awkward range of murkiness where we all sort of put our line in the sand somewhere different. And I think sometimes we get a little too hyper-focused on those differences. Love the talk about finding common ground among one another whilst building a bridge. Cool coincidence, says Brandiocious. I like your perception. That's very cool. Yeah, and I could say that about that thing as well. Like if you look, if we're all drawing our line in the sand about free speech, and we maybe look for an area where most of our opinions huddle together, I think that's a great way to move forward. Like, even if you are perhaps not in that group, you can kind of acknowledge that maybe it's better to settle here for everyone for now. And then, you know, you revisit things over time as society becomes a bit more developed and hopefully wiser and stuff. Oh, I see what happened there. Okay, so I don't have any dirt on me because I think that just works better there. Although, we'll do all that making it fit stuff later, I reckon. Don't start a cult publicly. Okay, thanks for the advice. I'll write that one down. Is it true if we got 1 million bits that you would do a face reveal? No, that's just a troll. That's just a filthy troll. You should know that. You should know what I'm like. Come on. Assume this maybe has nothing to do with freedom of speech, but people being able to understand right and wrong. I'm afraid keeping people from having difficult conversations will do more harm than good. I don't know. Okay, so right and let's acknowledge that right and wrong is like our own perspective and may not actually be like a concrete thing. So then when you're learning about what other people think are wrong and right, you know, learn why they think that way and understand their thinking, as opposed to maybe fixating on the wrong and right. Because I've noticed this with there's a lot of hot topics. I feel like I want to avoid going into a hot topic here. How can I say this without like diving right into it? I don't think I will. I think I liked a lot of the stuff that I say. I've thought about a lot before already, so maybe it's better for me to give it some more thought before I say what I want to say. Yeah, that makes. I can't really finish that now because I decided no, let's not talk about that today. Also, freedom of speech doesn't equal hate speech. No one has to listen to that. You see, for me personally, the hate speech thing, I find it relies so much on intent. I think it's possible for people to say things that might sound hateful and that not actually be their intention. So the problem I have with hate speech is that someone has to define it. And what happens if you disagree with what someone is calling hate speech, you know? If we want free speech, we're going to get our feelings hurt, you know? You know, free speech means you can insult me and I have to accept that. So that whole definition of like what's hate speech or not, it all gets a bit fuzzy for me. Free speech is protected, but hate speech is not protected and doesn't fall under free speech. And then who defines what hate speech is? Because free speech is, you know, speaking, the ability to say whatever you want. That's why I think people get drawn to like the absolutist perspective, because it's quite simple. X has to accept our insults, says Bell Steven. Yeah. I'm being serious. It might sound like I'm not, but I genuinely think like I wouldn't want to live in a society where someone would get in trouble because they said something horrible to me. That would just feel really weird and dystopian. You know, like, oh, because my feelings got hurt about something you said. You know, what's that old saying? Sticks and stones might break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's like a really bad saying. Words will hurt you. But I guess I don't want to live in a society where people would get locked up for saying something insulting or rude or whatever. That just feels dystopian to me. Words hurt in ways that sticks and stones never will, says Stellian. That's so true. That's yeah. It's like some of us can tolerate a fair amount of physical pain. Yeah, emotional pain. I mean, these are difficult things. This sounds like a spiritual sermon. If the good gods created humankind in their own image, then the good thing is to look for the similarities and the deep stuff to agree on. Life finds a way to let time change each of us differently. But at the core, we are people who punch trees in a block game. At the core. I mean, I've played this game so much, I dream in Minecraft. It might just be a part of my spirit now. Why is my diamond axe not upgraded yet? Does it have to be upgraded? You know? Why do I have to upgrade it? There's a baked-in assumption there. Sticks and stones may break our bones, but words go for the heart, says Breezes Crust. Yeah, we should, that's the thing we should say to kids. Like, because the other one is a bit like, I'm not a fan of the like suck it up attitude, which I do think works for some people. I'm more of a fan of making people more aware and stuff. So with kids, I think like make them aware of their emotions. Don't teach them to like suck it up and whatnot. Like, you can make your own decision to do that. You can be aware that that's a strategy, but like being aware of how much your emotions affect you and whatnot, I think is far more valuable to learn about. And that comes with the caveat that, you know, you don't have to let your emotions dictate you. You don't have to let them rule you. It can be difficult. Like, some of us can step away from those emotions sometimes more than others, but like the idea of knowing that you could potentially do that could be helpful. That statement was written by someone who has not faced hate speech before. Which one? Emotional intelligence. Yep, that's one way of putting it. Once you are a teacher, is a special education, you do learn to let at least some speech not hurt you anymore. Geez, I needed to hear that. Don't let your own emotions own you, because my anxiety runs my life, says Snow Leia. I used to suffer with anxiety issues. I mean, I feel like I always will, but I learned the tools to sort of step away from how I'm feeling a little bit, to not let whatever thoughts are rustling around in my head dictate, you know, how I'm feeling too much, and to throw some rationality in there as well, to just kind of be able to, you know, you got that voice making you feel all awkward or whatever, but just to remind yourself that like it's not a rational actor. And when you can step back and look at it like that, like it's not always helpful, but then in those moments where it is, and you're like, yeah, what am I stressing out about here? Why am I anxious about this? When you catch those ones, you then be able to like see it more in the other bits, because like anxiety is a real emotion. It has its use, but it's mostly rooted in our evolution, right? Our past. You know, you needed to feel anxiety because there was a lion in the bushes. Right? Your body needed to go into a different state. But where we don't have that same environment now, we seem to attach it to other ideas and concepts in our modern life. And when we do that, sometimes it's possible to just step back and be like, hang on a second. You know, I got a few quotes that I like that I keep in my head. By the way, we've got some noises. I'm not sure if I got this last one. Blame Meeson, if you're still there, thank you for 23 months. Billman68, thank you for 92 months. Evil X in his house. Getting so close to the dungeon, my dude. Getting so close. Here's a quote I really like. Count your blessings. Right? Like, just in maybe in times of a little bit of anxiety or panic or whatever, just remind yourself of things that are going okay, that are doing all right. And for a lot of us, they are just some simple basic things. You know, do you have a roof over your head? I know there's people out there that don't, but when you're focusing on yourself and trying to calm down or whatever, just reminding yourself of the times that we live in. and the comforts that is afforded some of us compared to how people lived hundreds of years ago. There are just simple things that can really really just help you. You know, is it sunny outside? You know, sometimes the weather's terrible. Don't do it on that day, but you know, sometimes it can help just to appreciate the fact that it's sunny or that the weather's good. You know, just focus on something simple. What do you do for health, X? Do you run, lift weights, eat healthy? I'm curious. You have opinions on Brian Johnson? Yeah, I really like Brian Johnson. I don't think what he's doing is for everyone, and I think it's easy to dismiss what he's doing as well. But I'm glad that someone is doing that. That's a really interesting pursuit, and I think what he is doing will be beneficial for society at large, I guess, in the future, perhaps, when what he's doing yields more results. It's funny, actually. I've got a cup of tea here, and I was thinking about the whole stop drinking earlier in the day thing. But I was like, oh, I'm probably gonna have a hot chocolate later, and I think I can feel like myself. I need like to try and develop some new habits again, and get back into the whole not drinking water from like after midday or something. Who is Brian Johnson? So Brian Johnson is a billionaire who I can't remember where he made his fortune from, but he then decided, like, you know, I want to be as healthy as I can possibly be. Who wouldn't? I want to be young for as long as I could be. Who wouldn't? But he's got the resources to do that, and he decided that not only is he going to pursue it and rigorously stick to like this incredible schedule of like treatments, exercises, supplements, diet, routine, he also makes the whole project completely available for other people to see what he's doing, learn from it, try it themselves. He's sharing all of this information at the same time, which is really cool. Like, I think it's easy for people to get a little fixated on the fact that this is someone wealthy doing this, but you know, like this is where it's at right now. Maybe in 100 years, everything he's doing just becomes something that's available for the average person. But you know, someone's got to start doing this stuff, and he's doing all these things to like prevent aging and telling you about all the research and making all the information just publicly available and whatnot. And you can get some really like great tips from what he's doing. There's a lot of stuff that's obviously like way out of most people's accessibility because of money. You know, some of the pricey treatments and therapy sessions he goes through. Why would you not drink water after midday? Have never heard that before, says the Impossible Girl. So sleep is probably one of the most important things we could focus on for our health, because it is the body's, you know, recycle, recharge, repair, whatever. Like, it is a hugely essential part of your body taking care of itself. So good sleep is you know, great for your health, mental and physical. And one of the things, I think the idea is that it's to stop you from getting up in the night and going to the toilet, which interrupts and breaks your sleep. Now, I go through phases, but like recently for me, I am not waking up in the middle of the night for a wee. But in the morning I can wake up a bit earlier, and although I could just go back to sleep, like my bladder's sort of telling me I need to go. So I think that's the main reason. It's just because it disrupts, but there might also be something else to do with like your body actually processing water and stuff. I'm not sure about that. I think he's pretty extreme with it. Like, he drinks a ton of water before 12 o'clock and then stops. Obviously, if you get a dry mouth, you can have a sip. I've done it in the past, but I would stop drinking more around like 2, 3, 4 o'clock. So like a good 8, maybe not quite 8, like 6 to 8 hours before you go to sleep. It's definitely good to not get up in the night and go to the loo. So you know, cutting down on drinks before you go to bed is a great idea anyway. So I'd say if you wanted to experiment with it, just start with that. You don't have to go extreme about it, but as you get later into the day, just have smaller drinks, and then maybe 4 hours before sleep, just try not to drink anything at all. My daughter has a bladder condition and needs to drink most of her water before 12 p.m. Yeah, if you've got a condition, obviously this doesn't apply. But if you're living normally, then yeah, what's this? Yeah, Suma, that's just age. Sorry, Suma. Past 25, the body don't work like in the tutorial. I'm a fair bit older than 25, and I can go through the night without peeing. So everyone's individual, but even if that's your reasoning, like, you should still try it. Try not drinking. Like, see what happens. You might get better sleep. You might not. I wouldn't just write it off. That seems a bit silly. I'm the kind of person who will wake up in the middle of the night to chug water, says Nitra. I actually used to do that. I don't know, like, I just got it in my head that, like, if I wake up, I might as well chug some water. Because I thought, like, drinking lots of water was good. I don't know if it is or it isn't. Like, it could be that your body processing water in the night, like, diverts resources from some of the essential stuff it needs to do to recover your body. I really don't know, which is why I said a moment ago, like, I don't know if there's more to it other than just stopping you pee. Drinking water while you wake up is very good. Just make sure it isn't too much because you'll end up feeling sick. I don't know how much you're drinking to make you feel sick. I don't know. You know, when I wake up in the morning, I start drinking water straight away. I actually can feel my body, like, needing it when I wake up and feeling better pretty good as soon as I start drinking. I'm older than 25 and it just depends on how well I sleep. Some nights I wake up, some nights I don't, says Snowy Leah. Yeah, but like, the term I really like is sleep hygiene, right? So like, rather than just put it down to like some nights I do, some nights I don't, there's a whole bunch of things you can do to improve your sleep. One of the things I do is I have a wind down ritual, which means before I go to bed, I'm doing certain stretches and exercises. I turn down the lights in the house. I turn down the lights on my telly. I do watch a bit of telly before I go to bed these days, but like, I make sure there's a good like 10 minutes where phones and screens and stuff are off, doing some stretching, tidying, doing some small things, and also trying to mentally not think about a lot of stuff, like just get your brain into a restful state. Got a donation here from Paludu. No crazy message, just keep doing what you're doing and inspiring us all. Thanks for the lovely message, my dude. I will keep doing just that. Thank you for your donation and support with the channel. Caustic Banjo says, I think Brian Johnson's results speak for themselves. He had 8 months of 100 sleep score, which is at 46 unbelievable. Yeah, I get mine around the 80 mark, and when I go on holidays or take a break, I seem to like jump up to 90. I think it's because my brain rests more mentally. There's like no anticipation of doing stuff tomorrow, which is really weird because I feel like I should be able to tell myself, like my job is doing something I really enjoy, yet I still seem to have a kind of, oh, gotta do this, gotta do that with everything that I do mindset. I wish it could just be a little bit more relaxed and casual, but that's the way my brain works. So when I go on a break or take a holiday or whatever, it's like I just get this crazy better sleep, and I think it's just because I cannot do all of that worrying because it's just not what's on the agenda for the next few days. How do you measure your sleep score, says JGB Martin. So I got a Fitbit, and maybe we could say it's a little bit dubious that we're putting numbers against it, and I've certainly seen or had bad sleep days and got a good number, and I thought, nah, not really, that was not a great sleep, and the opposite as well, ones that felt really good but I got a low number. So it's a bit dubious, but they are helpful because you can make changes to your sleep schedule. Like I put a blackout in my room, no light whatsoever, and I really feel the difference. I do not get woken up extra early by the sunlight creeping in, and you know, my sleep score just on average went up once I installed the blackout. So yeah, there's things that you can do. Now, for this roof, because we've done the bottom bit, it's actually a really nice bridge, isn't it? I think I might level out this bit here though, Just looks a bit sharp. Or maybe widen it all. Or maybe just stick to it, I don't know. It's a cool bridge. It's got a vibe about it. It's got a vibe about it. Now, do we need to introduce more orange again? I'm not sure that we do. It's the roof. The shape of the roof, I think, needs to be a little bit bigger. We need to be able to put leaves on it. It's those wall blocks. I feel like the wall blocks should be something different. Now, this is where I'd love to go into creative mode, or at least see like a menu of blocks in front of me, because sometimes you just want to do this, right? You just want to go and type wall in here and remind yourself. So like red sandstone might look good there. Granite might look good. I think bricks would probably look the best for some reason. So let's go grab some granite and bricks. I sleep outside and have been for the past 7 to 8 years, loving the fresh air. Oh, really? That is super cool. I've often wondered about that. Like, if I had a house with like a balcony or something, might just like sleep outdoors for the night. I guess that would suck if it rained. That's super interesting. I love the sound of that. I say keep it grey and added some mossy walls to go with the leaves. Oh yeah, we need to do that. We need to do that. You think I should keep a grey roof? See, the thing with that is then the roof is going to look like stone. And I feel like it needs to be a wooden roof. What did we say? We said walls and granite. Bricks. Bricks and granite. Ugh, words. Words be difficult, peeps. Let's clean up this inventory a little bit. Mexanu, welcome to the stream. Zarlon, I've been toying with the idea of having a shulker box with all walls for that purpose, and other slabs and like. Yeah, I'm moving on from the whole wall of shulker boxes. My next storage system will be different from this, I think. Yeah, I've got a lot of stone over there, and I've picked up a lot, so this stuff can get just sorted away again. Probably don't need any more of those. Although, you never know. You never know. I think some of this other stuff can just get sorted back where we are. Noise in the ear. Chinglish Finn. Thank you so much for the Prime. Good to join an X stream again. Been a couple of weeks. Glad to have you back. Your name sounds like you could rearrange it to say a bunch of different words. I don't know why. Something about it. Oh yeah, we wanted more of those. More of those. Thank you very much. Oh, and the old granite. My dad sleeps outside in the summer. He goes on his seat bike to the countryside. Really confuses our dog. Ah, poor doggo. Dogs love to keep everyone together, don't they? I think the pillars of the bridge need to be darker in contrast to the water. Oh, interesting. Maybe down the bottom they could do some darker blocks, although I'm going to go with the mossy approach. That means probably putting a few birch leaves and stuff around the bottom there at some point. Excellent. Currently building a sorting system. What would you say is the best way to get items from deposit chest into the water streams and hopper line? I don't know. That sounds different to the way that I do it. Let's go over here. So that's going to be kind of miles, right? And then on this side, we'll do stronger type. Ah! There we go. How do you do it then? Just getting the best tips. There's a shulker box unloader. The items go into a hopper line and then, you know, go through the whole sorting system. It's a bit hard to like discuss sorting systems because they're so technical and complicated. Like, at least the specifics are. Conceptually, they might not be. Oh, I love the bricks. The granite is a little too plain for me. I'm gonna go with the bricks. You know what? We might get away with stone on top. I don't know if I'd want to build it out of the brick texture, but there is a lot of stone in this build, like foundationally. And now you got bricks hoisting up what's up the top here. But yeah, bricks is it. And I think I almost, you know what, I must admit I'm kind of sold on the idea of having a grey roof here. So let's not tear into this too quick. Let's go grab our slabs. I've got quite a few andesite blocks here I don't think we're going to need again. Let's also go down and put in a few mossies while we remember. Oak for the roof? I was going to go with oak and jungle. In fact, the mossies would all be on this side, wouldn't they? Oh, it's so painfully slow. It is really painfully slow. Maybe use some tuff for the roof. Bit of greenish that should balance the orange nicely. You know, I was thinking about tuff when I was looking at it, but I was thinking the tuff.
No fear. Cub is now here.
Oh dear Lord, Cub. Yeah. That's distracted me massively. Yeah, I was thinking more about putting some of the tuff down the bottom because of that green darkness, but you might have a point. It's tough to build with tuff, someone once said. That someone was me. Bill Stevens says, what was that? That was Cub logging onto the server. It's a thing that happens here. It's a thing that happens here. Bricks are quite underutilized. One of my favorite blocks, says Master Mooseman. They are actually lovely. I think they look better by about a magnitude of 100. I don't know. They look extraordinarily better with the Vanilla Tweaks pack because it adds in those subtle variations. I think that is so powerful. They look a little too, I don't know, straightforward the other way. Tanisha, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome all the raiders. We are building a bridge. It's going pretty well. I like it. We just added in some bricks. We were just discussing how amazing the brick texture is with Vanilla Tweaks. Like, look at that little dark nugget down there. That actually don't line up. I think you can make the argument it doesn't quite line up with what's around the corner. But it works, it works. Well, Stephen, thank you for gifting a sub to Tanisha. Very nice idea. Thank you for doing that, my dude. Speaking of ideas, let's throw this down. Now, which block, right? Like, it's got to be that one. I couldn't imagine it building with any of the other variants, which I think is going to sort of limit that a little bit. It's going to limit because it's just going to be the same block over and over again, which could be bad. Beta and Daniels here gifting a sub to Stenos. Another gifted sub. Thank you so much, my dude. Of course, if you get a gifted sub, be sure to say thanks in the chat. We always appreciate it. The Black Ranger PL says, I remember everyone absolutely hated the way bricks looked before the retexturing update, and afterwards it became a cherished block. I don't quite remember it like that. I do remember it improving with the retexturing, but as did, you know, so many blocks in this game. So I've got this feeling that, like, extending... Do I see someone flying in the distance? Probably. I feel like doing something like this might go a long way. I think I also wanted to reevaluate the general shape of the stone bit as well, so it could be that. The color is nice. The color is really nice. I just think it's going to end up being a bit plain. Maybe we'll figure out ways to throw in extra textures as we go, but let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. So now I kind of want it in that space. So we need those stone blocks back in the inventory. Where are they at? They're over here. Bam, got them. Got them. Use a mix of polished and regular tough. I kind of prefer, I don't know. I feel like the texture needs to be consistent, but the color could do with some change. But I could be entirely wrong about that. See? See? Someone be flying around here. I don't know why I'm pointing it out so aggressively. Oh yeah, okay, so we come forward by one, so then that means the next bit's like here. You gotta run and finish your hurricane prep. Are you telling me there's a hurricane coming your way? What the heck? Or are you building some sort of crazy hurricane Minecraft build? I don't know. But stay safe. I watched the movie Twister a little while ago. That was an absolute pleasure. Oh, and it was my birthday a while ago, and I watched Volcano for like the 20th time or something. I love that movie. I'll always enjoy watching that movie. Everyone's just flying over the top today. I will never not enjoy that movie. It's not a... Oh, Twister or the sequel Twisters. I want to see Twisters at some point, but I'm not going to run out to the cinema to watch it, I don't think. Also, that Joker movie's out. I was kind of thinking I could go watch that tomorrow if I wanted to, but no, I won't. I won't. No, the classic, right? I always loved that movie as a kid. And I watched it again, and it was like, yeah, it's just like a 90s comfort movie. I enjoyed it. But Volcano, man, I love that movie. Every like scene is like a beat now because I just know it all so well. It's kind of funny because when I told the story like quite some time ago now of like this movie that I managed to watch 3 times in a day when I was a kid, and I kind of love it. I sort of decided just to lean into it and be like, yeah, I love it. And it's kind of fun to have a movie that you just watch a stupid amount of times and know all the lines and know all the beats, and yeah, it's just a bit of fun, really. Much better than Dante's Peak. I like Dante's Peak. I'm definitely biased, so I agree. But I also agree in a non-biased way, if that makes sense. Like, I wouldn't sit here and argue that Volcano's a great movie and everyone should go watch it. Like, the tone of it, the feel of it, some of the ridiculous bits where like Tommy Lee Jones dodges a falling building, and like some of the edits are really weird as well. All of a sudden the video slows down, or like the fidelity completely flips. It feels like there's a lot of like post-editing where they just sort of like did zoom-ins, so you see all this like low fidelity footage. Like there's loads of reasons why it ain't great, but I kind of love all of those things about it. So I wouldn't argue that it's like a great movie and you should go watch it. Like, it's just a fun movie for me, and I really enjoy whenever I watch it. And I decided it's going to be my birthday tradition, is like always watch that movie. HBomb94, thank you for the raid. Welcome all the raiders. We also had Yapika coming in with the Prime sub. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Nealm says comfort movies are comforting. Who would have thought? Who would have knew? Who would have thought? Slim Shady would have been something you would have brought. Dude, this is looking great. I thought this would look pants. With it all being one block, but it looks great, so we're going to keep going. This might be my favorite bridge that we've built. Welcome all the raiders again. We were just talking about the incredible, epic, amazing 1997 smash hit Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones, where he dodges a falling building. Oh, you're talking about that volcano movie? I loved how they used TNT to make the lava flow the right way. Did they do that? What they did is they blew up a channel and they dropped the building in front of where the lava's going to flow downhill. So they build a barricade, so the lava hits the barricade and gets redirected into a series. Like the TNT are like blowing up the ground to create a channel that leads out to the water system that leads into the ocean. I love the way Tommy Lee Jones just starts like barking orders at people. Like he's like clearly a very competent person at his job. And his job is about like, you know, keeping people safe and responding to disasters. So I kind of love that. For some reason, the kid and Tommy Lee Jones's daughter are just in the building being blown up, says Erin Dyer. Yeah, it's because like they're trying to evacuate everyone quickly, right? And she's running around looking for that little kid that she's looking after. But like it is just really poorly done, and I love it. And there's like these really tacky zoom shots where I think is her name Anne Hesh. She puts you see a shot of her, and it's like half a second long where she puts her hand above her eyebrows. I'm actually doing this motion in F5, like I'm like as if my arm was going to move in game. I don't know what's wrong with me. So she puts her hand up to her eyebrows, and you see that for half a second. And the next half a second is like a Hawkeye zoom across this large street. It's just like whoom, and like for a split second, she then sees them running. It's so silly. It's like you don't really need to throw in this little moment of like, and this is how they're going to meet up later because she could all of a sudden has Hawkeye view and sees them for a split second among all this chaos. There's some really weird edits like that. But I love that stuff. Like, I literally anticipate them coming up. I'm like, and here's that weird edit. Bam, there it is. That is a weird edit. Jurassic Park, Twister, and Coraline are your comfort movies. I do not know what Coraline is, but if they're in good company with 90s movies, I will make a note, because discovering a 90s gem would be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Friend tried to get you to watch Deep Blue Sea last week. It was terrible. Oh, so terrible, says Bell Steven. What was it like? There's different types of terrible, right? Was it a terrible you could laugh at and have fun with, or was it a terrible that they thought was actually really good but you hated it? Like I've watched some bad movies before. I think you have to be really quite selective. You have to know your own taste a bit, but it can be fun to watch a bad movie. Like what's that one that gets celebrated a lot? The Room. That is actually quite fun to watch as a bad movie because it's just so wacky. And there's all these like edits in it that just like they make you think about the meta of like, why is this guy making this movie? Why is he putting this dialogue in? It's really weird. Coraline isn't a 90s, but it's a claymation movie from 2009. Think Tim Burton style, but he didn't work on it. I'll check it out. I've never been too into the Tim Burton style. I actually watched Edward Scissorhands a while ago, and despite that movie, right, I've got like a list of movies that I loved that I wrote when I was, I don't know, like 15 or 14. I wrote down a list of my favorite movies, and that is digital, right? And I like discovered it in my backups a while ago. I was looking at it and like Edward Scissorhands is on the list, and I was like, oh yeah. And I was like, what do I remember about that movie? All right, I can kind of picture Edward Scissorhands. I remember there's this creepy building up on the hill, and that he did some sculptures with the plants there, right? The bushes. Absolutely everything else about the movie, didn't remember any of it. Didn't even have like a deja vu watching it again. Mars Attack is such a spectacularly good bad movie. Yeah, my mates liked that one as a bad movie. I never thought to look at it that way. Like when I was younger watching it, it was just like I wanted to watch a good movie, and I didn't realize that you're watching a bad movie for the fun of it. I probably would have enjoyed it more had I realized, oh, we're watching this to like, because it's terrible. Sleepy Hollow from back then was pretty good too. I remember that one. That's another movie that I watched as a teen that I probably barely remember a beat of, but like kind of have memories of watching it with friends and stuff. Donnie Darko's on that list as well. I want to watch that one again at some point. on, dude. Mix in a few regular tough, I dare you. I kind of want to work on the shape and stuff with different textures, like later. I just want to get most of this, like, half that we're doing here done first. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, I'm like doing a lot of this completely wrong, aren't I? Have you seen Star Trek? Look, the whole Empire, Darth Vader, you know, Luke, I'm your father, not really my thing, you know? I like the one where they went to Mordor with the wizard. What was his name? Oh my god. Dumbledore? Yeah. The one with Dumbledore? That's alright. But otherwise, no. I'm not into that stuff. Mordor is the best dimension. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Although I like the one where all the apes run the planet. And the Statue of Liberty is buried in the sand. That was a pretty good Star Trek. Isn't that from Lord of the Rings? No, Lord of the Rings, the one with the pointy ear guy. What's his name? Spock. That's Lord of the Rings. So from over here, this looks gorgeous, but I think it needs a little more shape. And then maybe just some of that shape comes with a few of those other tough block colors or textures, or however you want to word it. Like, I don't want to use that. I want to use these ones here. Think outside of the box, man. That's the one with the big monkey in New York. You're thinking of Godzilla. That's the one you're thinking of. I watched that Godzilla -1, and I was just like, these movies don't do it for me. Like, there are a lot of Godzilla movies, and they kind of have like an interesting look about them, and I could see how someone could be into it, but it just doesn't do it for me. Oh, chat, you are hilarious. You are hilarious. I think I want to get on top of this thing and work on the shape from up there, maybe. Have I seen the Planet of the Apes movies? Yeah, when I was a kid, I saw them, and they always had a bit of like nostalgia. Some of the remakes are pretty good. You're not a movie person really, but Annie and Beethoven, yes, my faves. I want to watch Annie again. I haven't seen that since I was a kid. Like Aniva. Oh my god, Annie and the Oliver one. Kind of want to watch those again. Oh well, that's handy, isn't it? It's the wrong way. Wait, what way am I trying to go here? Actually, oh, hang on, I'm having a bit of a brain fart here. That's not the way. Yeah, this way. It will go there then. Would that be 3 wide? I think it would. Yeah, be 3 wide. Don't know if it's really going to do too much. You think I'd enjoy Tick Tick Boom with Andrew Garfield? What kind of movie is that? I never heard of that. Another one I wouldn't mind watching again is The Warriors. That's a classic. It's a musical. Yeah, no, I'm not into musicals. Not really sure if that's going to do too much, but I'll go with it. I'll roll with it. Yeah, so let's set back all of these. Except every other one is going to be this. That gives it a bit more shape overall, I think. You're not much of a musical person, but you love Sweeney Todd. Some musicals are cool, like South Park, bigger, longer, uncut. I think I watched that back in the pandemic or something. I mean, that was crazy to watch because I hadn't seen it since I was a kid, but I remember that being like a big thing, a big deal. Another one was like the Beavis and Butthead movie. Like all the kids at school were talking about how, you know, like they had to get like a relative to sneak him into the cinema to watch it and stuff. Anyway, the thing I'm watching at the moment, by the way, is Mr. Robot. I watched the first one. I think I watched it season by season when it was coming out. And it had a big impression on me. I thought it was really terrific. But then, you know, the years go by. You start to forget some of the details. But like some of the big key points of it, like, you remember. But going back and watching it again, I'm like, there is a lot of this show that really just like skipped my mind. But not just like events and things that happen, but now I'm like looking at it with a bit more of a lens of like, it's obvious that this thing says something about mental health, but like, it just feels more vivid watching it again. Like maybe it was more obvious at the time, but then you kind of remember the story more. But when you watch it again, like it really hits hard some of the mental health stuff that it's getting into. I don't know if that's like a because you're watching it again type thing, or do I now just have a better eye for seeing this sort of stuff? I'm not really sure. I'm always curious because it intrigues me as to why certain art and media and music and stuff can hit you in different ways. But yeah, no, watching it again, a really, really powerful show. You've been watching 911 on Disney. Really great character development throughout the series. Cool. I've not heard of that one. Yeah, I don't watch much on Disney. Have I watched any TMNT? I've watched some MTNTI. That one's good. But TMNT, that's for newbies, that is. God. I happen to know what that one stands for. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I mean, I watched it when I was like 5. I have some nostalgic memories of some of the video games on like the Amstrad console. Started watching Dexter today. Very interesting show, says Nana. I never watched that one. The reason why is because I was really into learning about like serial killers. I think everyone goes through one of these serial killer phases in life, right? No? Is it just me? Well, at least me and one of my mates, we were both always fascinated by serial killers, and would read about all the, you know, oh, your Jeffrey Dahmers, your Ted Bundys, all that stuff. Like, I was just like morbidly curious. Yeah, see, some of you are normal. Some of us are morbidly curious and are fascinated by these. Like, not in a like a good fascination, in like a dwelling on the worst of humanity kind of way. Don't ask me why. It's what I was like when I was young. All right. So when that Dexter thing came out, I just didn't like that this show was like a smiley, you know, everyone's so pretty, like, what am I trying to say? Like, it's like a dressed up show with, you know, your usual cast of it's not real, it's not gritty, it's got that TV show polish all over it. And I couldn't stand like the spin that they were putting on serial killing, because I saw it as something like really serious and dark, and it made it kind of like light and fluffy in a way. And I really didn't like that it did that. But that's not to say that there might have been a good show there or not. What that was just like my gut reaction to seeing that show, and I was just like, this is terrible. Like, this is not what, like, I don't know what serial killing is about. Jeez. I hope I am articulating myself well, because this is taking a turn for the worse. Like, to me, the whole serial killer thing was like a really serious, dark, terrible thing, and then this show was kind of turning it into, you know, popcorn entertainment or whatever. I can't quite think of the right terminology, but maybe y'all know what I mean by that. Maybe you don't. So I didn't like the show on the premise that it was turning something I thought was really dark and serious just into a casual TV show. Gatekeeping serial killing. Literally. So in me saying this, I'm trying to say, like, this is how my young mind works. Like, these days I wouldn't be like that. I would be like, well, let's give the show a go and see what it's about. Maybe there's something in there that's interesting, right? There was a movie about black metal that came out, and I watched it, and I enjoyed watching it. I wouldn't say it was a great movie. It was kind of interesting to be reminded of all the old black metal stuff that happened in the 90s with the church burnings and whatnot. But, like, my younger self would have revolted at that movie. I'd have been so angry. I'd have been on the internet writing, getting all angry. Oh, these Hollywood people, bro. You know? That's what I would have been doing. And it was like that with the Dexter thing. I was just being, you know, young and dumb. I get it. Very little shows make it as dark as it should be. Presented, says Nana in X. Yeah, and you know, Netflix did a show on Dharma called Dharma, and people had, like, on the internet had some reactions like that again. I went and watched it, and I kind of thought it was unbelievably creepy and a very difficult thing to get the tone right of, and I'm not sure you could ever get the tone of something like that right, because that is an unbelievably dark thing that they're portraying. And some of the people who you know, there's this whole thing, this controversy around it of, like, some of the people who are victims of that are still alive, and it hurts them again, which is, like, an extremely unfortunate thing. As I kind of said earlier when we were talking about free speech and stuff, I think, unfortunately, like, I think people should be able to take stuff that happened in real life and turn it into entertainment. That doesn't mean it's going to be good or done tastefully or whatever. So, like, I feel for those people. It is such a, like, dark thing for them to portray, but I kind of feel like they got that creepy vibe, because when I was younger, I used to watch these documentaries about serial killers, and today it feels like this stuff is super accessible, but back then it was not something you would see on TV. It was really quite taboo, I guess, and so you'd have to find out about this stuff on, like, obscure websites, and, you know, these documentaries that hardly anyone watched because they couldn't get a budget to make it or whatever. So it's really different back then. It seems to be far more accessible and accepted now that people will learn about serial killers or whatever. Yeah, and the Dharma one really captured the creepiness of the whole thing. I might actually watch that one again. Like, I don't know why I'd watch it again, because it really creeped me out. But that's how I felt when I used to read the stories about what he got up to. It just unbelievably creeped out. Like, what the heck is going on in this guy's mind? You know, I'm interested to see if chat has seen any TMNT. Have you watched any TMNT? I mean, we're talking about Jeffrey Dahmer, and you want to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We've got different vibes here, different vibes. You was reading about the Mendes brothers and the show they made about them. The show was awful by the sounds of it, apparently romanticizing stuff. I've seen that advertised on Netflix, and I have an aversion to Netflix documentaries because they feel like they really drag stuff out and over sensationalize, and so I just have this, like, knee-jerk reaction. I didn't even really, like, think about it much, but yeah, I saw that actually advertised and just chose not to watch it because it's like, Netflix documentary, no thanks. Did anyone see that show Teletubbies? That really gave me the creeps, says G-Stab. Yeah, that was a creepy show, I'll give you that. That was weird. And kids were into it. Oh my god, the things those kids want to watch. It's gonna rot their brain. You grew up on that. I mean, like, shouldn't Teletubbies be like the age before you knew you grew up on it? Although I get like I actually, you know what? I can vaguely remember a show called Rainbow that I must have watched when I was like 3 or something. So like, yeah, maybe you would remember that was like something you watched over and over again as a kid. But yeah, I have a vague memory of a show called Rainbow. When you like, Zippy, yeah, that's it, Zippy. So that added quite a lot. It looks like we got like 3 blocks over here at the front on that side. Yeah, I remember Zippy. But like, I can't really remember much of it, just images and stuff. Anyway, let's go back to talking about serial killers, because that's, you know, that's good for the soul, isn't it? No, I'm messing about. Yeah, that's why I didn't. So that's why I didn't watch Dexter, and I probably won't bother with that show. There's so many things that you could watch. Like Lost is another one that people were really into that I never got into at the time, and I just don't like that feeling of like being overwhelmed by choices. So I keep it simple. Like I'm watching Mr. Robot right now, and when that's done, I'll pick some other things to watch. But like, I ain't gonna overthink about it too much, and like have a list, because lists are tyrannical. Once you start creating a list of stuff that you need to watch, you get anxious about it. Or maybe that's just me. But yeah, no, that's just me. That's the thing that I do. So I don't know, I get all these weird ideas in my head. Like, is this the most entertained I could be? Have I selected the right thing to watch? That's just overthinking. The second I start feeling weird about stuff like that, I'm doing something really wrong. How could like watching a TV show, you know, or a movie, like how could this be a bad thing? Like it's better to go. You live in a day and age where you don't spend your time outside being chased by bears trying to eat. Min-maxing entertainment. That is exactly the problem that I started to develop when I started to look at it that way. Like I would put on some show and get like anxious that I might have selected something bad and I'm now wasting my time. Like this is a ridiculous way to think about stuff. Like if I want to play that game, yeah, there's probably a hierarchical structure of stuff that I could watch that would keep me most entertained. But then like all the effort and hard work you have to go into figuring out what the heck all that is. It's just like, it's easier just to have a different perspective and be like, what am I doing? I'm eating my food and I'm putting something on the telly. Let's not overthink it. Oh, and for your information, X, I like talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because I haven't watched any of the shows y'all are mentioning. Stick with your Mutant Ninja Turtles then, my dude. Don't watch Dharma. You won't like it. You won't like it. I get weird about making choices too, says Nana NX. Yeah, it's decision anxiety. Albert Einstein famously suffered from a bit of it. Didn't like I'm saying decision. No, choice paralysis is the one that's the term that Albert Einstein used, right? Smartest bloke ever, apparently. They told me once. He's a genie or something. I have a genie? What? I feel like there could be like a little trim of something here. Yeah, the dude had decision anxiety. No, I said it wrong again. He had choice paralysis. You know, you give him a lot of choices and then it's like, oh, I don't know what to pick. Right? Sometimes you've got to just simplify stuff. I kind of want to put these here, but I don't have any achacha wood left, which is annoying. I don't want to spend ages chopping some down right now. Anyway, the trick is just to realize, like, it's not to get wrapped up in the thing itself. It's to do the meta thing and step away from it and be like, I am overthinking picking something to watch while I'm eating. That is what you are doing. So just like, keep it simple. Just enjoy whatever you put on. Don't stress it out about it. And this is what we deal with today, all right? We ain't got the jungle to keep us in check, so we're getting stressed out about what Netflix show we just put on. It's so silly. It's so unbelievably silly. That's why you got to count your blessings, you know. Along with that quote, count your blessings. Another one I like is I can't remember what the original quote was. It keeps getting like remangled in my mind. It was either happiness or the meaning of life. I think it was happiness though, but like happiness is enjoying the passage of time. And like I like to say that to myself because whenever I start to like feel a bit down or whatever, for whatever reason, sometimes I don't even know I feel down. It's just like mood swings, but it lets me like refocus on just like enjoying something simple. So if I'm on a walk, it's like enjoy the fresh air, enjoy the sun, enjoy the weather, and then that just lets me know like just take pleasure in enjoying that, enjoying the moment or whatever. Count my blessings, but I don't like maths, says Mixer. Oh, ha 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 ha. So funny. Ah ha 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 ha. I like cheesy jokes, you know that. I also like giving them a good old cheesy response. Let's go put in... I feel like one is going to sit so nicely there in the middle. And then maybe... Yeah, that's a good spot for them. This is a really nice little bridge. You're thinking about going back and rewatching all of The Expanse, says NCMTN woman. Do it. Do it now. Turn off the stream. That is an excellent choice. That is a choice you cannot go wrong with. That is an amazing show. I also rewatched it a while ago. That's been my thing lately. I spent a long time watching... I feel like that block should be stone now. Anyway, let's not... Actually, no, I really do think that will probably look better when you notice it. Yeah, I spent a lot of time like always trying to like want to watch... Oh, that's why it's that way, because of the block on the inside. Always wanting to like watch the new show that's really good or whatever. And ended up watching a load of like mediocre stuff that keeps getting pumped out by Netflix and whatnot. So then I was like, you know what, I'm going to go back and rewatch stuff I really enjoyed before and enjoy them again. And that really works for me. Like it's kind of this weird thing to just always want to consume something new. Right, I think leaves is just the next bit. Although I reckon it could probably get by without any. It's quite amazing. Maybe just go for leaves down the bottom. But yeah, we'll experiment. Now we just got to put stuff back in here that needs sorting away. Got to play that game of sorting all the blocks. What one is that? Oh no, that's not a box. It's not a box at all. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? It's a shulker box. Right, that's good. That stuff stays. This stuff now... yeah, we'll leave that here. How do I have... Oh, only 2 ink on me. I thought there was more for some reason. I killed a squiddy, maybe. Ah, broke something. Not that it's that bad. Fix the middle lantern. What's wrong with it? BBC's new 6-part drama, Night Sleeper, is definitely worth a watch. Night Sleeper on the BBC. I do like a good BBC drama. Oh, what would you know? What would you know? Did you see it? I didn't put it in the middle. Right, that's fixed. You know, I like a good BBC drama. I might put that on the list. I joked about having a list earlier. I've got one that doesn't tyrannize me anymore because I realised that's what it does. So now I just write stuff on it. And if ever I don't know what I want to watch next, I go have a little look at the list. And I'm like, oh yeah, let's give that one a go. It's a bit like music. Some people always want the new, and others stick to the golden oldies. You know what? Music is like the one thing I have none of this anxiety about. Like I always just seem, with music, I just seem to like know what to put on and listen to, and listening's always fun, and I never really feel weird about picking music to listen to. Music's like just so natural for me. It's funny you say that. It just made it so clear to me. I'm like, I literally cannot think of any sort of like music related decision anxiety. It's always just like, oh, what album am I going to put on? This one. Oh, it's going to be great. And then I listen to it and I love it. Yeah, I'm a weirdo. I know. Don't need to tell me, chat. Don't need to tell me. I don't know if I'm putting these back where they were, but I don't care because I'm a rebel. I'm also a rebel, chat. I break my own rules. Oh, look. I already had the leaves with me. I didn't even realise. Right, we did the lights. We put them perfectly on that bridge. Neatly aligned and all that. I know, kind of like that Soulside Eclipse guy. Pretty cool, don't you think? Oh, Taika. Oh, I've got to do the plug now. We started talking about music. If you haven't heard my own music before, you can go check out Soulside Eclipse. Oh, where should I check that out, X? Someone just said. Did they just say that? Look, it's in chat. Oh, it went by. Don't worry about it. You can go check it out on YouTube, on Bandcamp, on Apple Music, Spotify, all of the major streaming platforms. All of them, I tell you. If it's not on there, then it's not a major streaming platform. Don't try and get clever about it. Oh, dude, that's the one I wanted to use, and I've only got a few. Yeah, I'm just thinking a few little growths down the bottom here, and it's kind of good. Probably need to grab some dirt and sort out the... I like this little trick a lot. It's nice. Oh, well, that's all of them. That's all we're going to do then. And then I got the mangrove ones. They don't have the same effect down here. Have I heard the new Manson? Kind of feels nostalgic to the earlier stuff, but different. To have its own identity. I haven't actually. I haven't really caught wind of Marilyn's stuff this time around. I don't know why. Sure, I'll get with it at some point. Soulside Eclipse is your favourite music for grading papers. That's exactly what I had in mind when I made it. I'm glad you enjoy it, my dude. Did I hear the new Linkin Park songs? Yeah, I'm not really into it. I've never really been into Linkin Park much beyond Hybrid Theory and only listened to Meteora. Like, I say a few years ago. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 6 years ago now or something. I checked out your music blog yesterday, X, and I found some of the selections pretty interesting. Cool. Cool, yeah, I listen to a diverse range of music, let's say. For me, there's very little that I won't enjoy, so it's always spectacular to explore and find cool stuff. I've been really into pop music lately. When I grew up, pop was just like Britney Spears and Backstreet Boys, and it was just this commercial tripe, and it still feels like that today. Whereas these pop artists today are getting with like really good songwriters. They've got amazing aesthetics, and they're making music with like gorgeous instrumentation and some incredible singing. And it's just so good right now. It's in a really good place. And I've really enjoyed it. And a lot of it reminds me of like soul and disco and funk from like the 70s. And I think there's a fair amount of it that is pulling from those eras. But then there's stuff that's kind of new and fresh as well. Pop has diverted from the 4 chords. Yeah, the 4 chords for sure. What did I come back here for again? I think it was just to get some dirt. Or some grass, maybe. Get a bit of both. I don't think there's too much more to do with this. Like, I like the bridge as is. Just needs a few grass blocks around the base here, maybe. Yeah, I think I know what I want to do with it on that side. And then I haven't really thought about the path leading up to there, have I? So probably going to get some mud blocks and then those slabs again, actually, to finish this off. We'll make a few more. Don't think I need much more than that, right? The production is epic nowadays. Yeah, production is just incredible. With so many bands as well, though. Like the last band that I wrote about, Conquer Divide, I couldn't quite like get it into words while I was writing, but a lot of their music is like, when you pay attention to what's going on, there's not a lot of like notation or melody, but it's like this dense atmosphere, just kind of like lingering and being prodded along by the drums. And like when you really pay attention to the aesthetic, it's sort of interesting how like loud and powerful and glossy and like really nice it is, but there isn't actually like a lot of instrumentation there. What kind of artist music is the inspiration for your own music, says Muppert? Very much inspired by symphonic black metal. That was what I was majorly into when I was writing that stuff and when I was younger. I was obsessed with like Dimmu Borgir and Emperor and those Norwegian bands. And I'd say a few other things got in there just vicariously through like the music that I loved as a kid, like stuff like Genesis. Maybe not like an obvious influence, but definitely something they did with their melodies is in there for me. I think you forgot the brick walls for the other half of the bridge. Oh God, how have I gone this long without how have y'all gone this long without noticing? Jeez, I do not understand. Let's go grab them. Ever listened to Graham Central Station? I do not believe I have. There's a lot of music out there. You know, talking on decision anxiety and stuff, like, I always get excited by music. Like, sometimes I'm just like looking through artists' discographies and catalogs and just really wanting to listen to it all. And it's just kind of occurred to me, it's never like an anxious thing. It's not like, I've never had that like choice paralysis or like the tyranny of the list. It's always just been like, oh my God, I could pick any of this and it'll be fun. That is an interesting observation today. Thank you for being my therapist, chat, and letting me notice that. Do you have any builders that inspire you? Same way artists get inspiration from other artists. Not really. You know, I see amazing builds and stuff, but like, as you might suspect from what we've just been talking about, like, music is just the most natural language for my brain, I think. Like, everything music just clicks and works in my head. When it comes to other stuff, it's always a bit more try-hard. Like, building is quite a try-hard thing for me. I mean, if Hermitcraft was a place where you just, like, made music all day, oh my God. I'd be even more of a fiend. Is there any classical music you like? Yeah, I love classical. I listened to a lot of that when I was young. I had, is it called Timeworks or something? Timeworks, the great composers. I had like this big collection of all the greats. And the thing that I struggle with is that it's, you know, like Slipknot, Left Behind from Iowa. It's just like so much easier to digest than Gustav Holst and all these like esoteric European names from the past. And like, you know, the 17th Symphony in G minor, it just doesn't have this like catchiness that you can point to and say which one is which, you know. But I love the Planets by Gustav Holst, and Debussy I think is probably one of my favorites. The Nocturnes songs are just wonderful, and also it's like you don't just get, you know, Debussy songs because they're like composed, they weren't recorded, so you can find different playings and recordings of this stuff, and the first ones that I heard are the ones that I go to. They're like in my collection, so sometimes you hear these songs and it's like, you know, you put on Classic FM or something and it's played by someone else that sounds a bit different because of that. Never heard of him. Who's that? Oh wait, you're replying to someone else making a joke. I thought you were talking about Debussy. You got to go listen to Debussy. He's stunning. Just this incredible like deep emotion in his music. More drummers than Slipknot. They do have their drummers, don't they? They do have their drummers. Lol Boosie. Lol Boosie? Debussy. Am I just saying? I'm probably just saying it like an ignoramus. Duma Borgir are my favorite band of all time. I am obsessed with them. Still to this day. Although I was thinking recently, there is actually one other band that kind of competes with them. That's Meshuggah. I never fail to get like obsessive when I start listening to them again. And I've been listening to like a lot of Catch 33, and I was looking up videos because I was thinking like someone's got to have made videos that visualize what they're doing in their music, and I found some, and people have put together like these graphics that show you how they're like cycling through the different notes in their music. But there isn't a lot of it out there, but it's super fascinating, and I wish more people on YouTube would make those videos. But like, there's a visualization for some, and when you see it, it makes so much more sense. It's just this, they just flip between two notes with two different time measures of 4 and 3, and it plays this beautiful melody. But then as it goes on, they start throwing in these extra notes on occasion. And then when you go back and listen to it while you got the visualization, you see how like the same riff becomes increasingly like curious, because you hear it in the music, you know they're doing something, but now you can see what they're doing thanks to the visualizations. And I love that. They're so much fun to watch and see. And I wish there was more of it, like I said. But yeah, Meshuggah have like hacked the primitive brain of man. They found the beating heart, the tribal dance around the fire, and then they've gone and hacked it. They found out how to mess with that like deeply tribal rhythmic instincts that we all have, and just twist it into some crazy places. I watched an explanation. There's this, so on the album Catch 33, there's this amazing bit in the middle. You go from this song called Mirror's Mind, where Jens does this like vocal interlude with these amazing vocal effects. It's really like different. And then they bounce into this song called In Death is Life and then In Death is Death. And those two tracks are just this amazing stretch. But the first riff in Death in Life is like, everyone, they said it in this video, it's everyone's favorite. And like, amongst me and my mates growing up, everyone loved that song and that riff, right? And so they break down the structure of the riff. They show you what they're playing with some like visuals. You've got like long lines and short lines to show you the duration of each note that they're playing, and then this like dot for when they put in this super long note. And it goes through it, and basically they point out the entire riff from start to end is just random. You can't structure it. There's no pattern that they're repeating. And this band usually put patterns everywhere and mess around with time signatures, but on this riff, they don't. It's just a completely randomized thing the whole way through, and yet it sounds so amazing. It sounds so good. And now I love to watch that visualization while I listen to the song and the riff. And it's just fascinating to know that there isn't actually their usual tricks behind it. It is just random and weird and wacky, and it's great because of that. I feel like the wood here doesn't fit. They probably just needed a little bit of wood at the front, and that would have done it. Speaking of tribal, have I ever listened to Helilung? Yes, I've listened to all their records. They're awesome. Yeah, peeps, go do yourself a favor and listen to some Meshuggah if you've never listened to them before. Oh, I guess we need the mud brick slabs around here. Catch 33 is my favorite Meshuggah record. And I don't know what song is like a good entry song, because you already probably need to be into a bit of extreme metal to get it. I think Demaguire might be quite an accessible song because it's a little bit more brute force and isn't so crazy on the time signature stuff. New Millennium Cyanide Christ would actually probably be the best one to recommend. If you check out that song, it's got an amazing music video. It literally looks like they got a call. Can you make a music video while they're on the tour bus? And they're like, okay, let's make the music video. And they just did it. They didn't even have their instruments. It's so funny. Bleed is a vibe. Yeah, Bleed is... the reason I wouldn't recommend Bleed as like an introductory track is because it's probably like maybe way too heavy for a casual, right? But then also it's a little bit, I love it. It's a little bit on the novel side. I mean that in the best way possible. Because like if Bleed is just like the one song of theirs you ever hear, you're missing out on so much. Right, I think I also... Yeah, I want a bit of that going on around here. Around these edges. Just to help it blend a bit. I don't know, sometimes this sort of stuff just looks like a bit overdone. Because this is quite nice and simple here. What do you think, chat? Does it look a bit overdone? I think it's a bit overcooked. I think we need to tone it down a bit. Keep it a little cleaner. Not a crazy amount, just a bit here and there. If you like random notes that sound extremely good and with a dark vibe, try listening to the final hour of Chopin's Sonata in 2 B flat minor, OP 35. Chopin is another one that I really, really loved. And this is the problem, like Sonata in 2 in B flat minor OP 35, like this is just not, you know, if I say go listen to New Millennium Cyanide Christ, okay, 4 words, and it sounds really, what the heck is that? Grabs your attention. Bit too wide, someone says. I think you're right, it is a bit too wide. Yeah, let's tone that back down as well. And then over here, it's like this bit is just going off. Yeah, the less noisy I make it, the better, really, isn't it? And then you join the path. That's so much better. Still, I think probably would have been better to just do it simple from the beginning. You know, we've got to light up the area. We've got to make all of this spawn safe. But I think that might just be a wrap. And by the way, that will make this like one of the last things to do in the base. There is only like small details here and there, areas that I feel need a bit of attention left in the base to figure out. I'll show you why. Bridge looks great, says NHO. Thank you, my dude. Yeah, we're wrapping this up here. Like, the bridge is done. The bridge is over. The bridge is over. Okay, let's have a look at it. Whoo, that is nice. I'm gonna go stand on the bridge. That was a really nice bridge. That turned out so good. That was a really nice thing to do today. I say today because I was working on it earlier, getting the shape, getting the vision in mind. It's a good way to do things. So there were some areas in the base that didn't have stuff going on. I was trying to think of what to put there. I've been wanting to put a statue. And there was this like shorts video on YouTube that I had on the other screen. And I didn't watch the shorts video, but the title was like, don't leave your diamonds in a chest or something along those lines. And it basically was suggesting you should place your diamond blocks in your world. And then immediately I was like, I got lots of diamond blocks. Let's pile them up on the roof. So here they are. Here they are. So now, like, when I look at this area, I still feel like I want to put a statue here and that this area needs something. The portal out the back could probably do with some decoration, but beyond that, there's nothing else that I think really needs it. Maybe some of these empty spaces could have some decor of sorts, but I don't really think I need to rush that anymore, or like, you know, it's not necessary for the base to feel complete. So I might add a couple of little bits here and there, but otherwise I'd say, you know, with the bridge there now, the base is kind of done, which is crazy to say. It's going to let me focus on some other things now as well. But yeah, very cool. Some nice messages in chat as well about the base. Thank you, peeps. I'm going to wrap my stream up here though today. I hope you've been entertained. Hope you enjoyed it, had a good time, all that stuff. It's time for me to go. Got to get off the computer. Got to drag me away from this, even though I'm enjoying it so much. I will go look for a channel to raid, by the way, so stick around if you want some more action. Oh. Yo, let's go raid Skiz doing Phasmophobia. I might stick around and watch a little bit as it goes. I do enjoy me some Phasmo. Alright, peeps. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.